hacker. Once I ended up compromising several different systems within Thailand. And so you start to see repeating errors, mistakes. The phone, honestly, is where the convenience becomes a risk. What generative AI does is it selects the best answer ever written, and then they turn it into audio and video of someone you trust. Yeah, that's a big. I'm a hacker. Yeah, I break things, primarily security. I am a gray hat, so that means that sometimes I'm invited and sometimes I'm not. Invited essentially means I've been, hey, attempt to enter, that would be under, a penetration test, right? Where there's rules of engagement and that sort of thing. Uninvited, essentially I go looking on my own, and then this is typically what is already publicly exposed. It's a customer space that they invite people to come into. So you look for, in that case, points of entry. Yes and no, hard work. It's not like the movies. You have to be curious to the point of an obsession. I consider it rapid fire problem solving. You have to basically solve one problem after the next. And so if you're comfortable with that, if you like those challenges, then that's a direction that you can take. I think coding, I don't consider myself a programmer. I just write code. So if you can do that, it's very helpful. Python. I basically started doing sweeps of the Thai perimeter and just collecting all of this data. This is, of course, in the public space again. Once I ended up compromising several different systems within Thailand, these were actually ended up being in critical infrastructure. And so you start to see repeating errors, mistakes, again, areas that you feel that could be improved. And you see, okay, this organization needs improvement in this way, and this organization needs improvement in this way. You might word it as weaknesses. I might word it as, areas of improvement. I see three themes, right, that you can focus on. The first being a solution-oriented approach, right? Everyone is very excited about firewalls and endpoint protection, and they try to force their company, right, to fit that firewall or to fit that endpoint protection. And then the second one is an over-reliance on audits. Now there's a particular type of assessment done here called the VAPT. Now that's actually just another audit, and unfortunately audits are guesses. Well, guesses are often wrong. Just think of the lottery. Lots of guesses going in there and very few people who get it right. And the third would probably be secondhand or tool-based knowledge. Primarily your tool should be about collecting information, data for you. But many tools try to be helpful, and they try to give you what it thinks, right, can be learned from the data it collected, right? It comes with a conclusion. And again, that's another guess. And these tools are often wrong. And so an over-reliance on these tools to do the thinking for you, to give you what the response, right, to essentially tell you how you should handle it. I would say checking your work. Move past an audit, move past the VPT, actually test your security, because that way you move from guessing, which is what an audit does, to knowing. Everyone, from the person who deployed the system to someone, a third party you bring in, just checking your work, that honestly would solve lots of problems. Well, I think that there's certainly a lot of interest here, even in the general population. I think you have it promoted much more here. I think you have a genuine concern among the people to do that. And I think that if you don't have that, then you really are not going to get very far. And so the fact that you have it already is a big plus, right? So the NCSA is a good start. I've talked to staff there, and seems to be really about getting people involved. And I think ultimately that's what you need. You're getting people involved. That's what you want to do. Educating people, getting people into school to learn about it. I think the government's actually doing quite a bit right now. And I think they're doing a pretty good job as far as getting people involved. I think that from the perspective of an individual, whether it's an IT or someone with a phone and a laptop, make sure that you are secure as you think you are. Ask your friends if they know your PIN for your phone. Maybe they do. I know my wife's PIN because she doesn't cover it. I see it enough times and I know it. The phone, honestly, is where the convenience becomes a risk. I think if you look at your phone and you find that most people have their life in their phone. There are people who spend their lives making fake applications. It's a game, sure, but it's also a banking Trojan. There's one more thing I wanted to say about that phone part, and it doesn't mean give up your phone. It means maybe if you are going to get one-time passwords for your bank, put them on another phone. Wouldn't be completely safe, but much safer because then it's out of reach of that Trojan there. So. Well, I think the biggest impact going to be, at least initially, is social engineering. And that essentially means convincing you, speaking to you, asking you to do something for me, pretending to be someone you trust. What generative AI does is it selects the best answer ever written. And then they turn it into audio and video of someone you trust. So now you hear the best possible, most convincing, believable message coming from a friend or a neighbor or a coworker who you trust. So much better than any one person could do. Yeah, that's a big. Oh, it's certainly better at, so I would think it would be better at social engineering. I mean, I could never in a million years look Thai or speak Thai or have the right tone just based on the words I use and topics I choose, but AI can do it. I think they're not going to want to hear it, but it goes back to that phone again, not making it the centerpiece. Just split that up, right? Some of the things important things on one phone, some important things on another. Your biggest threat right now is that phone that you carry around, and so don't put everything all together on one. Again, my only concern is the audit approach, where you're relying too much on these tools to make your guesses for you, and they're wrong most of the time. You have to make your decision to check that work. You need to go beyond the guessing with an audit. You need to actually test it out. If you want to check the work, the person at the top is not going to check the work. They're not going to tell you to check the work. You have to do it yourself. And that's going to be the biggest challenge because it's very untie. But you guys definitely have the capability. You just need to take that step.